Greetings everyone, and Grade here with another Advanced Wars by Web replay. So on the north side as the Brown Desert. Yep, Brown Desert Von Bolt. We got gduma. So on the north-south side as the Blue Moon Drake. We got ArcDaeva. This appears to be a lab map. Both players start off one lab. Both players start off one base, so they actually just... Let's see, it says 2 properties. 2,000 income. Wait, do labs provide income? I don't think labs provide income. Where's the other property that provides income then? Oh, I guess labs do provide income. I don't know why, I didn't think labs provide income. By the way, there's also 2 neutral bases here. That's a bit of a slow start, so this is a strong side, but it is a bit of a slower start. We do have an airport in the middle on a little peninsula, and a comm tower way down here, which takes a significant amount of time to clear out. You probably have to build a battlecopter or maybe station artillery piece there. Then you have to get a T-copter and transport it there. There is a harbor here which could be utilized, but probably not so much. Don't think it would. Let's see, what else is there? And yeah, that's pretty much it. A decent number of shores there, which means the max mobility. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Just early capturing phase. I suppose I should mention what each CO does. Drake is the naval specialist. All naval units gain +1 movement range and 10% defense. Not really important. And his air units get 30% less firepower, which is quite significant. Von Bolt just gets +10/+10 effectiveness. We do have a Von Bolt tank deployed in the field. Drake's tanks are completely and utterly ordinary, which is perfectly fine. And the more I look at this map, there's only these 2. Wait, what? Oh, it's high. I missed the part that this map is a high funds game. It also does a. That's why the Neotech threw me off. That's why I said 2,000 income, because it wasn't 2 properties. It was just one property provides 2,000 income. Okay, this is high funds. High funds. Whoops. That Neotech really threw me for a loop because, like, wait, how on earth do you afford Neotech this early? It's because it's high funds, because I am brain dead. We have an artillery piece here, which maybe it's the strong side. Maybe not a great idea to go for the artillery piece there. More tanks may be good, just to help overwhelm this region. But of course, got this Neo-tank pushed way forward. I think a medium tank on the weak side wouldn't be half bad, since medium tanks and Neo-tanks are the difference in their firepower and defense not too significant, at least in defense-wise. So getting a good first strike with a medium tank would be maybe a little bit more cost-effective, as you don't really want to push forward all too much as well. But we've got double artillery by Von Bolt. I disagree with the artillery on this side. I think it's just more mobile tank forces. Be tank, light tank, regular tanks, and neo tanks would be great. Maybe even recons. But he has pulled out a Neo tank here to counter out the Neo tank. I think a medium tank can be adequate. Yeah, a couple strikes there. Interrupts the capture. Fully picks off that unit. Artillery piece here. And he is going for double artillery. So both these players are fan of double artillery on that side. Maybe I'm just missing something. Maybe it's just I don't play Advanced Wars by web. It's one of those things I've been getting in the habit of not playing the games to cast because I tend to get overly critical. And I know, say, games like Company Heroes 2, like back of my hands, I'm a mod maker for that game. Good first strike there, but the retaliation will be successful. And then, of course, there's still one more tank in reserve to get retaliation strike on it, but both these tanks can just play around the artillery piece. I don't think charging forward like this was a good idea. This Neo-tank isn't ready. This Neo-tank does have the support for artillery piece, but... Excuse me. Let me just pull this up here. Or attacker this. I suppose it is a decent bit of damage, but nothing massive, I would say. Definitely make the artillery pace for itself, that's for sure. It will be on force as well, and now has 1 less health, so I'm curious. 3 points of damage, so not bad, but not fantastic. Does not finish off the tank there, decided to put some more rounds into an infantry unit there. And now there's 3 Neo-Tanks by Von Bolt up here. And of course, Drake has 1 and what's left of 1. Drake is pretty close to a tsunami, but probably best just save up for some typhoons. Another Neo-Tank there, and artillery piece. And we got triple artillery here by Von Bolt. Trying to get to the airport. Von Bolt's airports would be perfectly fine. Drake's, without a comm tower, may just want to avoid pulling out even battle copters. We do now have a tsunami now available, which could be useful. Yeah, wait a second. Did Drake not take a shot against that Neo-Tank last turn? Must have not. Now I've got a 4th Neo-Tank over here. Does flip a property. Now both players at 32. This is Global League, so don't have to worry about reduced times. Or a timer, I should say. Oh, didn't even get a single point of damage there. And now a Typhoon is available. I think he should deploy on the field. Probably should have deployed it and then machine gun it down because it would be guaranteed at 1% health rather than at 1 health. Now got another tank and Neo-Tank and cost 6,000. Another artillery piece there. So both these players do like the artillery. Of course, now we do have rain on the field. And now the Von Bolt artillery just fires away, picks off those 2 tanks. Von Bolt's pretty close to his Ex Machina, which will likely strike the Neo-Tanks. Another Neo-Tank there. And we have a Drake Bomber. I wonder. Let's see. Drake Bomber versus a Neo-Tank on open plains. 50% damage. If we were to invert it... let's see. I'll worry about inverting later, but that will do 50% damage to a Neo-Tank on open plains. No, it is decent, but not too fantastic. Good strike there. Takes out one of the Von Bolt Neo-Tanks, but he does have Neo-Tanks in reserve. Artillery pieces push way forward, but not ranging anything at the moment. We could see Ex Machina this turn. An Ex Machina would likely strike around here. Oops. Yeah, I think it would strike right there. Ex Machina is now available. I'm guessing it could strike double Neo-Tank. Let's figure out where it goes. Does strike the double Neo-Tank. If he could have manipulated to hit this group of forces, if he would have took time to destroy this Neo-Tank. We got double anti-air there to ward away the bomber. As well as an artillery piece. He does have 100 or 14,000 reserve and also has 42,000 in the bank. He can pump out a lot of good amount of stuff with this little bit of reserve there. Okay, first, the bomber is striking the pipe seam. And there is the T-Copter for said pipe seam. Okay. That makes a bit more sense. A bomber is still a bomber, even if it's a Drake bomber. Getting some good strikes there. And of course, there is this mountain right here to help him play around with the artillery pieces. The more intraversable terrain, the better the indirect fire tends to do. And do now have a tsunami now available. Goes for a fighter. Maybe a little bit overkill versus a Drake bomber. I don't rate Drake's aircraft all too well. I'm probably underestimating them, but I feel somewhat justified. Good strike there on that Neo tank. You could merge the two Neo tanks together. Of course, extra bodies never hurt. Got double Neo tank blow up by Drake. One thing you could do is also stabilize this region is to blow up battleship and basically be bulletproof with plus 10% defense and of course three defense stars. Bomber heading down south, all it needs to worry about is a single anti-air, which is easy for it to play around with. And now we've got a Von Bolt bomber on the field, which will probably warrant a bit of a larger anti-air response from Drake. Tank infantry. Anti-air artillery piece. Bombbolt does have a pretty nice line of artillery there. Bomber heading down south. We do also have a Drake, a fighter, so he is responding quite significantly. Artillery. It's still 24,000, so we could go for bomber infantry, or maybe just another Neo tank here. Another Neo tank. Battlecopter. Give me a moment, I need to put my drink on my other hand so I can take a drink while moving the birds. Teacup heading down south. Looks like this infantry unit is probably going to just be abandoned there. Vombo has not even attempted to capture this column tower, so they have a similar inherent firepower, plus 10% for the column tower, plus 10% for just day-to-day. Another Neo tank artillery piece and artillery piece. So many artillery pieces. And now do have a Typhoon now available. Melee pops it, calling quite a bit of forces for Von Bolt at 118,000 versus Drake's now 127. Bomber does connect with an artillery piece there, but somehow even a wounded one from the Typhoon, a Drake bomber could not take out a artillery piece. I'm curious about that. Was that just bad luck? It was a 50-50 coin flip. While if you were to invert it, say click on Von Bolt's bomber, who currently has 8 health, versus a Drake artillery piece, and let's just match it, yeah, 83% at 8 health, and we'll just put it on a planes. That minus 3% firepower does hurt, or make it less hurtful. Mega tank over here. Neo tank finished off that Neo tank. Takes out the infantry unit there. Good strike on the fighter. Now Von Bolt's fighter could take it out, but probably should focus on the bomber. Good strike there. Anti-air will finish off. Very nice. Also, this battlecopter will not be taken out though. Bomber gets a good strike there. One artillery pieces do get hit. These other two artillery pieces in range, but there's just so many Von Bolt Neo tanks there. Another Neo tank and more artillery. How many artillery pieces does Von Bolt even have? He has 11 artillery pieces versus 6 of Drake's. Ex Machina is now available. A lot of good targets there. Or very likely, right now, it will definitely strike the Mega Tank among. It will strike right here if nothing gets moved down there. Lots of units getting picked off there. The Ex Machina will highly likely strike right here. Though right over here, it's going to strike over here. It will likely... Can Ex Machina hit friendly units? I have a feeling it's going to hit right over here. Let's find out. Let's find out. Is he saving it? It was going to strike over there. He just pulled back some things there, so it will... I think it will calculate how much damage value you will lose if you get hit by your own strike as well. Well, this entire flank is basically locked down. We have another fighter down here. It does throw the 8 health fighter and the 5 health fighter. Neo Tank is a good strike onto these artillery pieces. This is a basic clean sweep, but the Mega Tank will still pose a threat to all the Neo Tanks. And now a Typhoon is available. Infantry and double Neo Tank. Bombo Enster of 142,000. Drake has 135 remaining, so he has down by 100,000 value, barring his day-to-day. Currently has 51,000 a bank, and this Typhoon will call at least 10 or 20% of his opponent's value. It called 60,000 funds, so it's closer to 25%. Takes out that one unit. Tries to go for the lab catcher. There's only one lab per side. It's effectively an HQ. With less defense and no income. Takes out the fighter there, and Von Bolt's not getting any power charge from this Typhoon, or from this turn. Looks like Von Bolt will need to machine gun the transport copter in order so he can interrupt the capture. Takes out there, interrupts the capture. Neo Tank's starting to fall back. Not much to do versus a Mega Tank. If it wasn't Battle Copter, I thought we were going to see a bomber to help deal with the Mega Tank. Gets a good strike there on the anti-air, and anti-air will go down. Fighter moving around. Got a bomber, tank, artillery. Some Volbo Polynesians both get out a fighter and a bomber. Wait, that's a rocket. Oh, he has to pull out a rocket. This is the weak side. Indirect fire do work better on the weak side. Problem is, this will be hard to produce stuff to support the rocket. Another bomber, anti-air, infantry. Takes out that one tank there. Tank goes down, fire just over here. Put some rounds in the artillery piece. It's on the property, so we'll get healed on up. Neo Tank's pretty much out of range, but on that 1 health, soon be 3 health artillery piece. Battlecopter and Neo-Tank infantry tank. Good artillery strikes there. Looks like he was able to wooden chop that pipe seam. Goes for a T-copter. Does not have infantry unit nearby to immediately load up the T-copter. Regular tank. Good number of Neo-tanks still on the right flank. Got a pair of artillery pieces here still. Infantry unit does go down there. Bomber moving around. Takes out that infantry or tank unit there. We'll maybe receive a bit of fire from this artillery piece, but it's now down to 4 health. And the mega tank is trying to strike this Neo tank. Neo tank gets finished off. Great strike there. Mega tank is in range of the artillery piece. Infantry, and of course a battlecopter. Bomber is in range of this Neo tank. As well as this Neo tank. Almost one-shots it. Finished off the 4 health artillery piece. Rocket to strike the mega tank. Neo tank on Neo tank. Throw some rounds there on that mega tank. Mega tank does manage to go down. Another Typhoon's now available. And looks like Von Bolt is going to just charge for their artillery piece, trying to overrun the region. There's not enough units there to even just shoot all the artillery pieces. So this may be a successful overrun by Von Bolt. And looks like Von Bolt's going to try to close the game sooner rather than later. He has in terms of 269. Drake starts a total of 200,000. But he's likely to get around 60,000 value cold off the map. Pretty close. Closer to 50,000, but still. Ex Machina is now available. And currently right now, I think Ex Machina will strike both these Neo tanks. Put some rounds in that rocket there. Bomber staying back. T-copter does drop off that unit there. Oh, there's Ex Machina. And it looks like they didn't strike the double Neo tank. It struck the Neo tank bomber and artillery piece. Which makes sense. After all, bomber and Neo tank are same value. So I'm going to merge up some of those artillery pieces there. Good strikes there. Finish off the outlying units there. Rock on top of the city there. Another Neo tank on the right flank. Anti-air tank. And the fighter moving around to the left flank. Takes out the artillery piece there. It looks like Von Bolt's charge with the artillery pieces were largely unsuccessful. Another Drake Neo tank on the left flank. We do have a medium tank on the right flank. Takes up both those battlecopters. Nice little merge there on the artillery piece. Neo tanks just trying to find more cover. Some of them getting repaired on up. Got bomberless region. Another artillery piece, infantry. And Von Bolt should get his column tower next turn. Another Neo tank, ATR, and artillery piece. The bombers rotating over the left flank as well. Neo tanks push their way forward. Bomb bolts, artillery, or bomber heading down south. Let's take out that infantry unit there. Finish off that one health fighter. And use that one health artillery piece to just provide a bit of a wall there. Neo tank push way forward, gets a good strike there on the artillery piece. Gains some good kills there. Good strike from that Neo tank. Anti-air strikes the artillery piece there, takes it out. And a handful of these units are being picked on off. Got double Neo or triple Neo tank over here, and Vulnerable does not have anything to really stop him. Plus the wounded bomber is advanced way forward as well. Another anti-air deployed down south. These Neo tanks push forward. Vulnerable does have some pretty good presence, but Drake does have a decent amount of forces here as well. 2 anti-airs help deal with that one bomber, and Vulnerable has well a second bomber over here. Just striking out some outlying units there. Anti-air takes out the Vulnerable or the Drake bomber. Takes out that Neo tank, and we do have now another Typhoon available. And good strikes here by these Neo tanks. But of course, with the Typhoon there, it'll blunt the assault a little bit. And we even bring the fighter over here for some more escort. Another battlecopter, another Neo tank, artillery, and infantry. And now here comes the rain. Heavy rain. Which is not composed of heavy water. And of course the next Machina is now available. Very likely strike, could strike both these Neo tanks over here. That will likely strike triple Neo tank. If it would probably land right here, striking all 3 of those Neo tanks into anti-air. I don't, yeah, it would definitely strike right on top of this Neo tank. Another pair of Neo tanks blowing field. T-copter and an infantry unit. I have a feeling it's going to strike right here. I'll be surprised if it strikes over here. Yep, just what I thought. And that'll lock down that advance. Also, effectively giving him a double turn so he can position his artillery in place. The next turn he can just fire away. Takes us some of these units there. Looks like the anti-air will get a good strike there. More artillery pieces on the field, and he has brought back the fire to get not only healed up but also refueled. Bomber will go down. Looks like Drake will be picking up that one infantry unit there. Mega tank, rocket, and tank. Oh, what was that? Ah, it was that over there. I was looking at the right side of the map. Neo tank does get a good strike there, along with the rocket. More artillery pieces pushing along the left flank. Gets a good shot there on the infantry unit. Neo tank heading out down the city. Another Neo tank, artillery, and anti-air. Rocket pushing forward with a mega tank. Fighter takes out that T-copter. Good strike there onto that rocket. Tsunami is available. Another Neo tank, infantry, anti-air. Rocket falls back, takes out the battlecopter there. And Neotank is a good striker there on the anti-air. Fighter on fighter. Takes the medium tank, guns down the artillery piece, takes out the infantry unit there. Takes out that unit there. Takes out that Neotank entirely, giving him another Typhoon available. Then they will spin out those Typhoons faster than the Ex Machina's. 126,000 cost versus 162. And there is the Tsunami. Nice little clean sweep along the right side of the map. He only has this Neotank. He's probably going to send the bomber down here. Got triple artillery still here. Vombolt's down 130, 112 value on the field. 108 value on the field versus Drake's 186. Plus he still has day-to-day spending. So Drake will be ahead by a significant amount at the end of his turn. Vombolt could get his Ex Machina out this turn. Be a little bit difficult. Good strikes there. Takes out that fighter. Bomber heading down south. Got another Neotank or artillery piece of infantry. Give me one moment. Right now I'm having trouble staying awake. I haven't been getting much sleep lately, so I'm just going to open up an energy drink. That hopefully will wake me up a little bit. Infantry capturing at the center part of the map, takes the artillery piece there. Neotank straight forward. Does pull back some of these units there. Got a lot of artillery pieces there, so it needs a lot of mobile forces to help arrange them quickly enough. Megatank slowly pushes way forward. This fighter, I have a feeling that it's a 50% chance he will end his turn on top of the airport to get not only healed up but refueled. It's down to 28 fuel, so without an APC in the field, he will crash relatively soon. Good strike there on the tank. Closes on in, take out a number of those units. Does waits on top of the airport. He still has 40,000 in the bank, so he could go for his own another mega tank, or go for a mega tank, or maybe just go for Neo. Right here, tank. Battlecopter heading up north. Another battlecopter hits that artillery piece. Medium or Neo tank, battlecopter, double infantry. Vombolt starts to turn 37,000 in the bank, so he must got a lot of repairs going. He's at 44,000. Drake's at 48. He starts to turn 209. Drake's at 275. So Drake has a pretty nice little advantage. He's able to pop his superpower far more often, which is generally probably a bit more effective. Ex Machina is now available. Probably lands right around here. Let's see where it goes. Yep, it landed right here. Or... yeah, it had to land right there. Looks like it does not do friendly fire. That's good to know. A lot of times, like the Rachel missile silos does do friendly fire damage. So I never know what does friendly fire damage, what's not. So it looks like Ex Machina does not do friendly fire. Oh, that's another spot where it would land, like right here. Okay, it landed right here. That can also reach everything there. Bomber gets knocked out. Gets good damage there. This, oh, regular tank's down to 15 fuel. That's impressive. Gets a good shot there on the artillery piece. Finished off with the, or does not finish off with the battlecopter. I forgot how bad Drake's battlecopters are. And right now, Drake has a massive number of Neo tanks over here as well. Able to close the difference on those artillery pieces, that's for sure. Goes for another mega tank, goes for a regular tank and an infantry unit. Takes out that battlecopter with a fighter. Mega tank gets knocked out. A tsunami is now available. 108,000 costs, while this costs 138. Got another rocket now deployed in the field by a Von Bolt. Does get some good strikes there. Infantry unit does get wounded a little bit. Gets another strike there, interrupting multiple captures. Let's go to that Von Bolt's trying to go with these captures. And manage to squeeze out a tsunami or typhoon there. Able to get another round of global damage, leaving Von Bolt 169,000 versus 218. Managed to gun down that Neo tank. Battlecopter, tank, Neo tank, anti-air. Von Bolt's still pretty far away from getting its next superpower. Takes out that battlecopter, finish off some outlying units there. Neo tank on Neo tank, very nice. Let's get some good value damage there. This rocket is at some health, so we'll get a retaliation shot. Neo tank infantry artillery piece. Fighter does take a pretty good hit there. Fighter's also pretty low on fuel as well. Right now down to 30 fuel. Good strike on that Neo tank. Losing a very good position right now. Von Bolt is starting to fall pretty far behind. Mega tank, anti-air, regular tank. Fighter gets a good strike on the battlecopter. Fighter is down to 16 fuel. It may not have enough to get back to the airport now. After all, what, burns 5 fuel per turn? To be at 11. And of course, yeah, that will be a reach. It's more than one turn away. So it looks like the fighter will run out of fuel relatively soon. Tank, infantry, and of course does go for another bomber. Not really necessary to take out that fighter, as I mentioned beforehand. He is going to run out of fuel very soon. All that did was just donate some power charge. Another rocket, another bomber, anti-air, and infantry. Takes out that anti-air and does take a shot against the mega tank. Bomber gets a good strike there onto the Neo tank. It does finish off. Ex Machina is now available. I think it will land around here. Probably right there. Oh, nope. I was completely off. Double Neo tank and bomber. And that also could allow Von Bolt to push pretty aggressively forward. Another Neo tank, anti-air, battlecopter, and infantry. Bomber does go down, does pop a tsunami. Doesn't create rain, but one bit of global damage never hurts. Plus also drains off all the fuel. Let's see. Next tsunami will cost 163. Another Neo tank, and infantry. What's the infantry unit there? Drake still has a small income advantage. Enter for 276. Von Bolt starts the turn with 173. Of course, that's his day to day. But he's falling pretty far behind. But it's right now been pretty stable at that behind rate. Mega tank almost goes down. Another Neo tank up here. Into your artillery as well. Takes the battlecopter, strikes some of these other outlying ground units. Great first strike there. And some of these rockets are going to hit pretty hard. And now this artillery force is starting to go on down. He doesn't have anything to really stop this force. He's hit this Neo tank, and of course he will need to move the one health artillery piece away so he can get the anti-air to hit that bomber. It's not looking good for Von Bolt, that's for sure. Neo tank, infantry, regular tank. Great strike there. Takes out that mega tank entirely. And we do have a battleship deployed up by Von Bolt. He must be getting pretty desperate if he's trying to deploy out a defensive battleship. Starting to get a lot of good ground in the center of the map. Tank, infantry, tank. Picks up the last of Von Bolt's rockets. Does base block the airport. The battleship can do some good damage there. We may see a Typhoon this turn. We may see an Ex Machina next turn. Very likely we'll see an Ex Machina this turn. But I don't think there's a possibility we won't see the Typhoon. At 154 out of 160. Yep, no Typhoon this turn. But we're very likely to see an Ex Machina next turn. Which will very likely strike somewhere up here. And Ex Machina is now available. Okay, it lands over here. Hits both rockets and the Neo tank. Gonna saw some of these outlying forces. Good strike there. Another tsunami's available. Neo tank here. I think it would have been better to go for Mega Tank, but I think he's out of money. Oh no, he has plenty of money. Mega Tank will help him stabilize this region against all these vehicles. Anti-air, anti-air. Probably should go, yep, does go for Tsunami there. Good strikes on that battleship, putting it down to 3 health. Does get a good strike there. More bombers been pulling field. Tank, infantry, infantry. Bomb bolt starts the turn of 115,000 to 36,000 in the bank. Drake ends the turn of 195,000 with 11,000 in the bank. Takes out some of those outlying units. Good strike on the anti-air and gets off of his opponent's airport. Of course, it's still being camped by this anti-air. Try and flip some properties now. They have equal income at the moment. Takes out that Neo tank. A lot of this stuff is starting to run low on ammo. The Meg tank is out of ammo, so it'd be a good idea to charge it with his own Neo tanks. Battleship takes out that Neo tank. Good strike there. And finish off the Mega tank entirely. Machine guns the transport copter a little bit. Now another Neo tank, anti-air. And regular tank on the field. Artillery piece does go down. Neo tank, anti-air, T-copter, and regular tank. You have a slight economic advantage in favor of Drake. Once again, takes out the T-copter, no problem. Even takes time to shoot up a tank there, does not take it out. Another anti-air deployed in the field. Rocket push way forward, gets on top of the city there. Bomber is moving around, T-copter moving along the right side, and maybe infantry unit blowing out there next turn, or this turn. Battlecopter, tank, neo-tank infantry. Drake has a 273,000 in the field. Vulnerable starts turn with 192, with of course it's 41,000 in the bank. Takes out the bomber there. Next Typhoon's 176. The Ex Machina's 216. As game starts going on and on, the costs will start even out when it comes to these superpowers. Get some good strikes there. Bomber, anti-air infantry, and tank. So a good number of artillery pieces up here. It does have 2 anti-airs as well. Trying to flip that one property again. Neo tank looks out of range of the artillery pieces. Got another neo tank, and battleship did move forward. Is at full health. Battle cup there. Got another infantry unit up there as well. Tank. It looks like Blue just massing up some forces over here. Infantry, tank, fighter, and anti-air. Bombbolt does have a fighter here as well. Looks like both sides setting up for a massive conflict. Bomber does get a good strike there, as well as right there. Takes out that one bomber. Typhoon could not be brought on in. Not Typhoon, Tsunami. This one time could be worth it. Making some great headway. Takes out a good number of assets on the field. Neo tank, battlecopter, and anti-air. Takes out that one neo tank. Neo tank on neo tank. Does manage to squeeze out another Tsunami. Now, do you have Ex Machina available? Hide land somewhere around here. Highly likely. I think it will land right here to hit the fighter, the neo tank, and the bomber. Though striking here, maybe here. There are 2 rockets, a neo tank, and a bomber. It's hard to say exactly where it'll land. There's a lot of good targets for it. Mega tank, anti-air, and tank. Not going for any shots just yet. Maybe does bring in the Ex Machina there. So I'll line it right here. Takes the battlecopter. Clean off the anti-air may have manipulated just enough. Neo tank, infantry. Drake starts the turn of 270,000 on the field. Bombbolt ends the turn of 179. Drake still has a massive advantage. Takes out that fighter. And the battlecopter as well. Finish off some of his outlying forces. A lot of stuff is in range of the battleship. Bomber, tank, anti-air, infantry. Starting to flip that property there. Battleship gets a good shot there. Battlecopter hits a battlecopter. Another fighter put on the field by Von Bolt. The other pieces just pushing the way, creeping the way forward. Does take out some of these outlying force there. Another anti-air here. Tank, infantry. Neo tank getting hit pretty hard there. Does go down. Yeah, the Neo tank's getting shot up quite a bit there. And I think Von Bolt's just starting to disintegrate on the right flank. Left flank, Von Bolt does have a decent force here, but that's just a lot of tanks help project and engage over there as well. Can't range in those artillery pieces, but can at least creep forward. Oh, looks like he was in movement range. Anti-air, mega tank, and regular tank. Does not take out the anti-air there. Did a good job start cleaning up the left flank, but his right flank is completely collapsed and needs to pull out probably some mega tanks. Get some decent damage there. There's a mega tank, anti-air, and artillery piece. Takes out that one unit there. Our rocket pushes way forward. Does good strike there. Takes out the battlecopter. Good free strike there. Takes out the fighter entirely. Even puts a shot into the battleship, but will be healed up to full. So will cost a bit of fundings. Tank, infantry, and battleship. And Von Bolt has resigned. This is Great saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay.